Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and today I'm nervous, not because of this live, but because we are cutting acrylic with the brand new M1 Ultra, which holy cannolis, I am so nervous about. Okay, so before I get into anything else, I want to make sure that my mic is turned on and sounding good. So let me just check this real quick. Okay, we are sounding perfect. I love it. So now that I know for sure that it's working, just want to make sure that everyone is ready to go. The cutting acrylic on the M1 is, or I guess I should say, cutting acrylic on any laser is very flammable. Acrylic is very flammable and it will cause a fire if we're not careful. So I'm kind of nervous about today because it's live, and what happens if I set my craft room on fire? It won't happen, I promise. I am very careful with it, but just know I am kind of nervous about today. But anyways, so the very first thing I want to say is that the xTool M1 Ultra is a diode laser, and with that being said, it can't, because it's a diode laser, it can't cut all acrylics. We're going to figure out today what acrylics it can cut though, because I want to know. I don't even know. The only piece of acrylic I have tried to cut is, I did successfully cut a piece of black acrylic when I was live last Monday. And then I tried to cut white acrylic on my M1 Ultra and I did not have any success. I'm hoping that somebody else has the original M1 and also a 10 watt that can give me instructions or like settings on what they use for the original M1. So here's the deal. If you are looking to purchase the M1 Ultra, or if you have the M1 Ultra or whatever, I personally have the 10 watt M1 Ultra. And they also sell a 20 watt. I actually reached out to my contact over at xTool to see if they could send me the 20 watt laser head, because when you have more wattage in your laser head, you're going to be able to cut more things. And so there is videos out there, like tutorials out there of people using the original M1 and they're cutting white acrylic, and that is because they're using a 20 watt no, it's not the original M1. They're using the S1 and those are being cut with the 20 watt laser. So I'm pretty sure that if we were to do the 20 watt and the M1 Ultra, that we would be able to cut white. I was not successful in cutting white. Hopefully maybe somebody else has a secret setting for me to use. So I just want to check the comments real quick. Hi there, so excited to watch you. I'm nervous. You may be excited and I'm a little nervous. Okay, so I showed this to you last week, but I'm just going to briefly go over it because the M1 Ultra is a very new machine and there isn't a whole lot of knowledge on the machine. So I created this cute little Canva slideshow. I'm like all about Canva right now, and I created this slideshow just because I get asked like the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. And it's just so helpful that I created a slideshow that, just kind of answers everything that you need to know. Once I showed this slideshow last week, I had no questions moving forward because it really answered all the questions. I truly don't think that you're going to be left not knowing. So I just wanted to show you this real quick. So the very first thing is, here we go. Okay, oops. Let me pause it real quick, and then I'll put myself up here in this small little camera. Okay, so last Monday, I did not have the riser base, and since then I have gotten the riser base. So you're going to be able to see what it looks like here in a little bit, but the machine itself is 24.5 inches by 20 inches by 7 inches tall. The riser base will make it go taller, not any wider or longer. So just know that it's sitting up I haven't put in a ruler to it, but I think it's about like 12 inches high. That's the height of it. It's 26.5 pounds without the riser base. The riser base, it feels like a brick. It is so heavy. Again, didn't put a weight to it, didn't put a measuring tape to it. The riser base itself is really heavy. I don't know why it's so heavy, but it is. It's built with steel. There is no camera on this machine. However, they have a really cool app on their phone, and I have a video coming up, and I believe it's launching on Friday, how to use the app on your phone and set it up with the M1 Ultra. You also, if you have the xTool S1, it uses the same feature. It is phenomenal. Most of the time, like with the xTool P2, or any other laser that has a camera, what you're gonna get is a fishbowl lens. And what happens is, well, the P2 has a secondary camera, which kind of makes it not a fishbowl, but regardless, it kind of still looks like a fishbowl. But what that happens is like, you're gonna get this image of your bed, and you're kind of gonna have like a fishbowl lens, right? With the new feature on the app and being able to use it on the M1 Ultra, you don't get any fishbowling. You just get it straight up and down, exactly where it is. That's where it's at. There's no fishbowl lensing. It is Wi-Fi and USB capable, which is great in the grand scheme of things to have it to be Wi-Fi. I personally have my machine on a Wi-Fi, but you are gonna notice that my computer is here. Let me show you. Okay, my computer's here. I'm gonna have to go like 20 steps that away just to press the button on the front of the machine. So while having it Wi-Fi compatible is great, when every single time you want to do a cut, you're gonna have to walk over to the machine to press the button. You're gonna get your steps in, and that's truly the only like benefit to all of the Wi-Fi thing. I truly don't even understand like Wi-Fi, USB, like what the pizzazz is for that. You can do both, just letting you know. Okay, and then the next little slide, I'm blowing right through this because I've already showed it to you last week, and I don't want to bore you silly with things that we've already discussed last week. The only thing that I am going to talk about though today, because you can watch the rest of the slideshow from last week, is this right here, which is the laser module, which is what we are using today. We're not going to use any other module but the laser module because we only want to learn how to cut acrylic, or if it can cut acrylic, if it can, what acrylics can it cut, you know? So this is the only one we're going to talk about. It has a bunch of different laser heads and module, or not laser heads, a bunch of different modules. I'm going to put it out there in the universe right now because I know xTool watches my videos. I know that they're watching because every single time they're like, Ashley, you're not supposed to say that, or you should have said this, or whatever. I know they're watching, and I'm going to tell it to you because I specifically want this particular thing for the brand new M1 Ultra. And I was looking at it with my S1, and I feel like it's possible. So for me, what I would love is like a head, because right now it comes with just the laser head. Wouldn't it be cool if they could give us an infrared head, just like the F1s or even the S1, like an additional head? I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. Who's with me? Can I get a hands up? Who would love an additional laser module? Let's do like, I don't know. I really want the infrared one because then I would be able to get rid of my F1 and my S1 because my M1 Ultra is going to be able to do it all. Fiber laser would be great. A CO2. I don't think that they can do CO2, but like, could I just get more additional heads for my M1 Ultra outside of having to purchase another machine? That's what I want. I'm going to put that in the universe. I do have to tell you, like 2 years ago, I said out loud, I want a laser printer that also has an inkjet printer, and look where we have come. You put things in the universe and someone's listening. So hopefully someone's listening to me about adding additional laser head modules versus like, oh yes, sublimation ink, that would be good. And I have to tell you, I feel it in my bones that there might be a sublimation ink cartridge coming. Do not quote me on that. Don't think that I have any insider intel or anything like that. But like, xTool themselves has sent me a ton of sublimation blanks, a ton. They haven't said anything to me, but I got this gigantic box and it was filled with sublimation t-shirts, with sublimation coasters, with sublimation dog tags and patches and all this stuff. I'm like, why would you send me a whole bunch of sublimation blanks if you don't offer sublimation? I feel like it's coming. The writing is on the wall for me on this one. So I do think that that may be coming. Okay, so going over to the laser head module. It's a diode laser. We've already covered that. You can either purchase the 10 or 20 watt. I'll leave the link of to purchase it. I would strongly suggest, if you haven't purchased the M1 Ultra, to get the 20 watt. Don't get yourself the 10 watt, because the last thing you want to do is have to buy the 20 watt laser head because you like weren't happy with it. The wattage does two things. It goes faster. The more wattage, the faster it goes. The second thing is, the more wattage, the thicker material you can cut. Look, I'm all about just going big and going home, and let's just get the best of the best so you don't have to like spend more money later, which would end up happening. On that note, also when it comes to all the accessories, just get all the accessories, because you don't want to miss getting the rotary attachment and then having to purchase the rotary attachment separately, and then that's gonna cost you more money. That being said, there was some talk, and I have it. You see that white box? This one, the small little one that's right here? Okay. I don't know. Someone else might need to quote me on this. I'm getting hot. I'm getting sweaty. So someone needs to either verify this with me. I did not watch the xTool live unboxing thing that they did. They do that I'm like a grandma. I don't need to be staying up until 11 o'clock at night. So this air filter thing, when I was on live last week, everyone was saying the air filter that you would use with the F1, which is the smaller one right there, fits and works on my M1 Ultra. I tried today, and it would not rock. It would not run. It would not connect. There wasn't anything that was going on together. So I am now venting out of a window, because we are going to be using the laser head. If you're using the laser head module, you have to vent out. Don't forget that. Or if you don't vent out, get the air filter. Now, xTool sells the M1 Ultra with an air filter. I was told that the same air filter that they're selling is the same air filter that the F1 uses, that small box right there. Again, I can't get mine to work or connect, so just letting you know. Outside of that, the only other attachment, that would be the only attachment, like I would say, if you have a window that you can vent out of, which I do, this is the M1 Ultra. Behind it at the very back, there is a window, and you can see over on the right-hand side, this like tubing thing that's right here. This right here is my tube, and it's going out of an open window. So if you had something like this where your craft room does have an available window, you don't need the air filter. So just keep that in mind. Every other accessory that they sell, I think that you need it, because the last thing you want to do is not have the correct accessories and then have to spend more later. Desktop purifier is for the Ultra. You can ask for a cable that fits. Christy, thank you. I am going to email second email today. I'm going to ask her for the cable. She didn't mention the person I talked to from xTool, her name is Heidi, and she didn't tell me anything about the cable. That would have been a good thing to know. My cats and dogs would be destroying my machine to get out the window. I have an old man dog. My old man dog, he's lazy. He's lazy bones. He ain't trying to do anything. Okay, Michael said venting out the window is the best way to get the fumes and smoke out. 100%. And it's actually really funny, because I have the P2 right here, right? And then I have the air filter. Do you see this like tangled mess that's right here? Everything's backwards, so I have to like figure out where my hand goes. this like tangled mess, this right here is more hosing. So I essentially double purify my air. So it goes from here into this box. I turn that box on and I take that hose and I shove it out that window. And so there's like virtually no smell in my craft room. It is a very, I would strongly suggest venting out of a window, but if you can't, an air filter is the only other way to go. Don't think that you can't use an air filter and just run the laser like a floozy. Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that, okay? Okay, and then what's the other thing? Let's see here. There was one more thing that I wanted to talk about in this little slideshow, and then, oh, okay, so the last and final thing about the whole laser module, because I keep getting this question over and over and over again, and I haven't done a video yet, and it is coming. I'm waiting for the cable to come, which is essentially why I had emailed my contact at xTool, was I'm like, hey, I still need the cable. So the rotary, the question that has been asked is, can you engrave metal? Can you do tumblers? You can. Tumblers, the metal part, you don't necessarily need the riser base for it. If it's like thin metal, like this right here. This right here is stainless steel, and you can engrave stainless steel without the riser base. If you wanted to do tumblers, like this big old water jug right here, you would need the riser base to do that. So just know that you can do it. You will need the riser base. I now have the riser base, but I don't have the cable. So if you have the P2, the D1, the F1, the S1, any other xTool, if you have another xTool and you already have the rotary attachment, which allows you to do tumblers, baseballs, rings, all that jazz, anything circular, cylinder, round, whatever. If you already have that, you do not need to purchase another rotary attachment if you don't want to. I don't know how it works for people that aren't me, because I don't know if you have to purchase the cable or what. I just email my girl over at xTool and I'm like, hey, can I get the cable? And she's like, okay. And then she sends me the cable. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like a real life situation or if that is just a me situation, but I do know that you can get the cables. I have seen other people get the cables. I don't really know what they're doing and if they have to pay for it. Okay, what about cutting wood? I have an AC infinity fan, but still have the smell of a campfire in the room. You know, I love the smell of campfire. I have to tell you, I love the smell of campfire. I have an AC infinity fan that I used to use on my Glowforge. It's still in my garage and I don't use it. I guess I could use it, but I don't use it. I still really felt like, even though I had the AC infinity fan, that I could still smell campfire even if I was blowing it straight out. Like I used to have my Glowforge like right in front of that window right there, and it would like seriously like just suck right out into the window, and I would still smell a campfire. I think that was because the inside of the bed like still holds on to that smoke. I don't really know. All I know is like it still kind of smells a little bit like a campfire when I do wood projects. On my P2, the same thing. I will have to tell you though, if you have the air filter, which I do, make sure and monitor that air filter, because one day I didn't realize that it was full, and my craft room was like a smoky mess. It was like smoky and gross and not cute, and it was because my air filter was full. So I had to take the air filter out, put it back in, and all of a sudden all the smoke just started sucking right out. So I don't know. I do know that if we are venting, if I'm only venting out of this into that air filter, the smell of like campfire or the smell of like a nail salon, if you're cutting acrylic, that smell is a lot more than when I stuff my vent thing out the window. Then it becomes a lot less. So just know that. Okay, Melissa, do you think it can engrave on lead mechanical pencil? Most of the time, the lead mechanical pencils are plastic, and you cannot. You will melt your plastic. If you're talking about like a metal pencil, you now have the M1 Ultra, Melissa, so you can test that out. Look, essentially what we're doing today is what you would do on your own with the M1 Ultra. You're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to show you how to like perfect some settings here so we can kind of guarantee that things are going to cut well and look well. So a lot of crafting is just experimenting, a hope and a prayer. You got to pray to the crafting gods that you don't light your craft room on fire. There are certain things that we do not want to be cutting with a laser, but we are going to do safe crafting today. But just know, I have never engraved on a lead mechanical pencil. I do know that you can't do it if it's plastic, which most are. If it's a metal one, like a stainless steel, this one's not a good example, but like, you know how this right here is metal? You could engrave right here, but not here because this is plastic, if that makes sense. Okay. Before we get started, I just need everyone to hope in prayer and crafting gods with me that everything turns out really well. The reason why I am so nervous about cutting acrylic is because it's flammable, and the diode lasers, while they can cut some acrylics, we're going to be cutting acrylics I know for a fact aren't going to cut, and if I do that, then it can cause a fire, and holy cow, we don't want that today. This is like where the danger comes in and why I'm so nervous. So we're just going to do a hope and a prayer and a crafting prayer that we don't have any issues going forward. All right, are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so first things first, what we want to do, this is the xTool M1 Ultra. Melissa, this will be saved for later streaming or whatever you would so please. Sorry, I had to get a drink. I am thirsty. Okay, so this is the xTool M1 Ultra. Well, it's the creative space is what it is. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so this is how you're gonna use your xTool, all xTools. So you can see like at the top of my screen, I have the M1 Ultra right here. And if you go over to the next one, I have a tab open for the P2. I could then do another tab that would open up, and then you can choose, it's gonna take forever. Here we go. Then you can choose the S1 if you had one or if you had a D1. I love that the xTool program, you can toggle between all different tabs and all different machines. So if I had all 4 of my machines going, I could go back and forth to all of these tabs and not have any issues. So that's perfect. Okay, the very, very first thing we want to do is a test grid. This is like the coolest and most it's the most coolest feature that xTool has offered to everyone, because it just makes cutting and engraving and perfecting settings so much easier. So what you want to do is, very first thing is you want to come up here into a shape. You could either do a square or a circle. It doesn't matter what shape you do. I prefer a rectangle. The reason why is because there's no corners in a circle. Duh, right? But when we go to cut things, when we go to cut other things, oftentimes you're going to have corners. And so sometimes your settings are great for a circle, but won't be great for a square. So I'm just going to jump straight into, I want to do something that's a square. So I'm just going to select the square, and I'm going to put it inside this box that's right here. See this square box right here? That is our working space. That's our workspace, okay? The next thing I want to do is come over here to this easy set panel, which you can move around. This is where we are going to tell the machine what it is that we want to be doing. So for me, I want to cut. So right now it's set to score. So I'm going to go over to cut. And then what I'm going to do is making sure that this is selected. You could resize this box if you wanted to right now, but to be honest with you, I'm going to resize it here in a minute anyways. I really don't need it. So then what I'm going to do is come down here to these 4 little squares right here. Click on that. And then we are going to go into Material Test Array. What this is it is going to give you test cuts of different settings that you can use, different that's what it is. I don't know why I just said it's different settings. So we're going to perfect the settings here. I have another tutorial about this that it's specifically just about this, because I believe I used rubber in that one and I had no idea, or like leather. You have no idea. I mean, I don't know. This is a brand new machine to me. I've never cut any type of acrylic. I have no idea what settings are good. I have no idea what acrylics will cut, will not cut. So what we need to do is figure out what settings we need to use. So before I go further, what I want to do is go over into the internet browser, because I always say this about anything, that any type of settings that I give you, or that xTool give you, or anyone out there will give you, are starter points to what we need to use for our xTool. So my settings may not be the same as your settings. Just keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do, because I don't know what settings to use, I'm going to go over to xTool's website. And the coolest thing, I have to say that this is probably the coolest feature ever, is that you're going to go into xTool's website. And are they going to give me a pop-up box? Every single time they give me a pop-up box, it drives me bananas. But we are going to go into Learn and Explore. See, got a pop-up box. Okay, we're going to go into Learn and Explore, and we are going to go over into Material Setting. Let me know if I'm going too fast for you. If you're watching this and you're trying to follow along with me with your own xTool, let me know so I can slow down a little bit. And then you're going to want to choose the machine that you have. I have the M1 Ultra, so I'm going to click on the M1 Ultra. Now what you want to do is at the very top, you can toggle between the 10 watt and the 20 watt. If you have the 20 watt, click the 20 watt. I personally have the 10 watt, so I'm going to click the 10 watt. Okay, this is the kind of important piece of tool that you need to have with your xTool or any laser. Doesn't matter what laser you have, you need these. And they're called calipers. And these ones right here are like 10 bucks on Amazon. And they are truly your best friend, because you are going to go on the internet, and do you see how there is a 3mm green grass opaque glossy, and then there's a 1mm black opaque glossy? If you don't have these, are you going to get wild and do 3mm, or are you going to stay short and do 1mm? Do you even know what that is by just using your fingers and your eyes? I know I don't. I don't do math in millimeters either, so I have no idea what that means. So this thing right here is going to be your best friend. I use this for everything, especially for today, because when I was looking for the settings, I was like, wait, I need to pull these out. But I also use them to make slotted base signs for like wood and acrylic. That's for a different day. Anyway, so grabbing one of these, I can tell you right now that this right here is going to be 3mm, because I already put my calipers to it. But just to show you, you can toggle between the inches and millimeters, but this right here says 3mm, and we are going, we're going to be using glitter green. Actually, not just glitter green. I didn't just stop there. I have all of these. We got a full rainbow and some mirror acrylics and some glitter acrylics. We're going to try them all. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. Okay, so going back over into the internet, what you want to do is come over. We decided that we have the 3mm. That's what I have right now. So I am going to click on the 3mm thing. And what's going to pop up is some settings. So it is 100 power and 2 speed. and it says 2 passes. You always want to look for this one right here. So we got 2 passes, and we're cutting this. Yeah. Okay. You can also toggle between score and engrave if you wanted to. I just am only going to figure out whether things are... Oh my goodness, Maker's Gonna Learn also got an M1 Ultra. How exciting. And it's huge. It is not huge. It is smaller than your Glowforge. I know because I was there. Oh, and I hear somebody else commented somewhere else. I don't remember where, but they had really quick shipping. xTool has really quick shipping. I cannot wait to see what you create with that M1 Ultra. Okay, so going back over into cut settings, what we're going to do is we're going to remember this. We have 100 power and 2 speed with 2 passes. Those 3 things are really important for this type of project, okay? So then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the xTool program, and we are going to put at the very first one right here, this power is 100 power, and the very max speed that we want to do is, let's say it was 2. It was 2 speeds, so let's say the max speed that we're going to do is 2. Let's do 5. Yep, we'll do 5, okay? And then what we want to do is a minimum power. So the smallest amount of power. Oh, it is Tanner. I didn't know who it was, but hello, Tanner. It is not. It's not giant. It is so not giant. It is countertop. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. This thing is small. Well, okay, wait. You had the original M1, and the M1 is smaller than the M1 Ultra. So if you're basing it on the original M1, yes, it is smaller. It is larger than the original M1. I comment about shipping, but I can't tell if that's what was coming today. I am, if it's coming from JD Oracle, because that's every single time I get anything from xTool, they say it's coming from JD Oracle. If it's coming from them, it's probably your xTool. Okay, so your minimum power, I'm going to keep this at, we're going to just keep it at 100. The only reason why I am saying this and then doing this is because I have used a laser for quite amount of time. I just know that we're going to need 100 power because acrylic is a pain in the butt to cut on any normal circumstances. So we're going to keep it at 100. The minimum speed that we want to do, let's just do 1 because the, what was it? Was it 2? It is 2. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to change this one up to 3. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3. We're going to have 3 different cut settings, but we're going to have a couple different passes too, I think. And then, so what xTool says that we're going to need is 100 speed and 2 power. We're going to try and go 1 less and 1 more. For your columns, obviously, we only want 1 like this. And then we're going to go down 3 because we only need over here on the left. You can see it. It says power 100. Speed 1, speed 2, speed 3. You can keep the spacing the way you want. That's perfectly fine. Then all we want to do is press done. Okay, so this right here is going to be our test grid. It will look weird for you because this is what it looks like now. That's because we have a whole bunch of different settings. Let me right click and just verify because one time, yep, so we got, when I ungrouped it, we have this one set at 100 power, 1 speed. This one is set at 100 power, 2 speed, and this one's set at 100 power, 3 speed. However, remember over here in the internet thing, it says the pass. Do you see how it says 2? What we need to do is over in the xTool program is we need to select these 3 boxes right here, all 3 of them. We need to change the passes over to 2, okay? And then just press return. Now what I want to do is I am going to just delete these these letters. I technically don't need them because I know what it's going. Once you figure out what settings cut well, you can just use your screen as reference. You don't need to actually waste any time doing any of this stuff. And it takes up more material, so we don't need it. Okay, so this right here is your ones that we're doing at the two passes. There are going to be some materials that are going to need more passes than two. So what I'm going to do is selecting the rectangles that we have, and I'm going to copy and paste. Command C, Command V if you're on the Mac. Okay, my next set of squares or rectangles right here, I'm going to change these over to 3 passes, and then click out. And then I'm going to take these 3 right here. I'm going to copy and paste, bring them over here. And I'm going to change this over to 4 passes. And just so we can get it all nice and cute and even. Okay, I'm going to delete these numbers. Again, we don't need them. If you wanted to, just so you can remember what the settings are and stuff for later, you can select your numbers and just drag them over here to the side. Whatever you want to do, you totally can. If anything is outside of your rectangle, this like grid white rectangle, that means that it will not cut ever because it's outside of the work area. So if you're used to using like the Silhouette program, with the Silhouette program, if anything is inside your work area, it will cut. If it's anything outside, it won't. Same type of difference when it comes to the xTool program. Okay, so the first row on the very left has the correct, semi-correct settings. The middle row is going to have the 3 passes, and then the right side of the row is going to have the 4 passes. Now what I'm going to do is selecting this entire thing, and I'm just going to right click, and I'm going to press group, just so it groups it together, so when I move things around, it's all going to be moved around just like I want. Okay, let me see here. Let's see. Just want to answer a couple comments and questions. I need a bigger craft room for all the goodies. I'm running out of craft room space here. So I can appreciate needing a bigger craft room. Same, Denise, same. My brother said I didn't have room. Yeah, he was wrong. I found room for the new machine. You know, I'm queen of getting rid of something to add something new or moving to a bigger location. I currently have the F1, so I was really hoping the same purifier would work. I mean, so what I've heard Michael tell me is that all I have to do is email xTool and they'll send me a cable for the F1 filter. I don't know if that's true. I haven't yet done that yet, so I'm going to definitely try. Compared to my D1 Pro with the extension kit and the third-party case, the M1 Ultra is half the exterior size and a third shorter. You know, I had the D1 Pro and I was not a fan of it, I have to tell you. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to lay in some acrylics into the xTool M1 Ultra. I am going to start with the stuff that I am fairly certain will cut, which is this stuff. All of this stuff that's right here is glitter and mirror acrylics. And this one I'm fairly certain won't cut. I'm just letting you know. I don't think it will cut. We're going to try it out anyways, but I'm just letting you know. I don't know if it's going to work. And the stuff that I have that I'm fairly certain will work is the rainbow. So we got a little, these are all scrap pieces. I'm a hoarder and I save all my scrap pieces of acrylic and I'm using them today. So it kind of like justifies me saving. So I have some red, orange, yellow, small little green, and a blue. I got like a teal color and purple. Can't really tell, but it is purple. Looks blue, but it is purple. And then I have some Barbie pink, which is my favorite color. And then I have black, which I've already cut black last Monday, so I already know it cuts, but I have it here just in case. Okay, let's go over to the xTool. So on my xTool right now, I have the base plate put in, and this is like what you would use for the prisms, which is this right here. However, I now have the riser base in place, and I also now have the honeycomb tray. So I'm going to use the honeycomb tray instead. I didn't install it because I wanted to show you how easy it is. Inside the bed, which you won't be able to tell, there are these like little screws. I just already have them screwed out, and all you need to do is pull this out. Okay, when that's pulled out, this is what your hole is going to look like. There's going to be some slots. This right here is what you'd be able to like slide your honeycomb tray in to like, you know, do engravings on higher materials. So you could slide it in like this and then put in, you know, like a thicker cutting board or something like that. But I am going to just lay this into this right here, just like that. Okay. And a lot of questions about whether or not this is going to have a pass-through slot. To do like longer materials, it will not. So at the front of your machine, you have a tray that drops down, but it doesn't do it on the back side. There's a reason for that. xTool said that there's a reason why they don't allow that, but just know they're not going to have a pass-through slot for like a conveyor belt. Okay, so I'm going to put in some acrylic. This is red, orange. Maybe I can get all of them. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to try and do the whole rainbow. I think I have picked out some small enough pieces. Let me see. Okay. I will not be able to get my pink one in here, but I do have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then my teal color. So we are going to try it just like that. Then what I want to do is I'm going to go over into the app on my phone, because remember the xTool M1 Ultra does not have a camera. But if you go over into their app, let me clean off my camera on my phone. Okay, let's let it load. I don't want to update. We'll discard unsaved project. I don't need it. Okay, what I'm going to do is connect, go to settings. Wireless data. What is going on? Hold on. Okay, it's enabled. Let's see here. We're going to go into, it says it's not connected, but it should be. Are you awake? We're going to go into new project. Let's see here. And snapshot preview. We'll see if this connects. It should. Anyway, all I'm going to do is take a picture, and there's like these like arrow bullseye things. You want to make sure and take a picture of all of that. Okay. I could probably do a better job. So we'll do a retake. So this is what it looks like on my computer or on my phone. So we'll do send to computer. So now this thing right here, we need to go over to the computer. Okay, over at the computer, what we want to do is open up, click out of this, and we are going to obtain background. And then using our phone, you're not going to be able to see this, but just trust me, using your phone, you're going to take a picture of that QR code that's on the screen. There it goes. Okay, when I have that done, this is what the screen is going to look like. So this is the live preview of what is in my xTool. Pretty cool. It is going to look small, and that is because the work area is like 12 by 12. Okie dokie. So, hold on, scrolling up. I just got the M1 Ultra, but didn't get the cord that goes from the machine to the air filter. So when I tried lasering letters on a tumbler, I kept getting an error message stating the filter was blocked. I'm supposed to get the cord today. I'm so afraid to try everything. I don't know why. Everyone is afraid to try things that they don't know. But what I would suggest is just try it. You'll never know until you do it. You know what I mean? And trust me, I worry about like fires and stuff like that, but I really think that you will be okay. You just want to make sure and monitor your machine when we are doing any type of lasers, but don't be afraid. You got this. Hi from Orlando. Hello, Evelyn. Sublimation ink, please. That would be amazing. I would love sublimation ink. Are those trays extra or do they come with a unit? Evelyn, if you purchase the riser base, it comes with the riser base. So just keep that in mind. If you didn't purchase the riser base, then what you're going to get is rectangular prisms. They essentially do the same thing, although I'm going to be able to clamp my material down, which is pretty important to me when we're doing like the print then cut feature with the inkjet module. Okay, if you ordered the M2 Ultra, it's the M1 Ultra with the air filter. It comes with the same cable it uses for the F1. However, checking my order, the cable is coming separate. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water. I am going to contact xTool to get a cord for my F1 filter because I do have the F1 filter. Your live video now is so helpful already. I didn't know we could take a picture of your project. Thank you so much. On Friday, I am actually, there's a whole video on how to use the M1, the camera app feature. It's really cool. But that is for Friday. It's going to launch on Friday. Okay. This is our workspace. This is what our machine looks like, our live image bed, and it's not fishbowl, which I did mention that. However, before we get started on cutting, what we need to do is set the the distance. They say distance, I say thickness, or the space between the laser head and your material. This is pretty important because it gets you better cut settings. So what we need to do is we need to go over into your M1 Ultra, and you're going to take your head. You see this like little pin button thing that's right here? Because all the material is all the same width or same thickness, it doesn't matter which one you choose. What you want to do is put your little cross red thing, that thing, you want to put it on one of your materials. Doesn't matter which one, just needs to be on one. Then what we need to do, oh, hold on, is we need to shut the lid. This is where you're going to get all your steps in because everything is Bluetooth compatible. So we're going to go from here to there, here to there. Okay, so now what you want to do is come over here and we're just going to press this arrow tool. And I don't know if you're going to see it, but your xTool is going to do an auto measure. It's probably hard to see, to be honest with you, but it does do a little measure. And now you get like a number that pops up here, and that's going to be the distance between the laser head and your material. So why is it important? I don't know. I'm no expert on the lasers. I mean, technically I know how to use a laser, but I don't know why that's so important, but it does help with getting really good cuts. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use all of these pieces of acrylic with this test grid that we created earlier. I don't want it to be this big, so I'm just going to make them smaller. And I'm going to put one on one side. Oops, there we go. Sorry, I was totally not even showing you what I was doing. Okay, so over here. So we got this right here, and then what we're going to do is copy and paste, and we are going to copy and paste it into another piece of material. I'm going to make it smaller. Because it's basically just a rectangle, it really doesn't matter how big or large you make them, you just want to make them because we want to make sure that your settings on your machine are going to be good settings because I always say they're starter points. Who knows? The one settings that xTool's given us may not even be good settings, you know? So we're just going to make these all different sizes. It's all the same test settings that we've tried or that we've created. But I'm just going to make sure they're all in here. I absolutely love the camera feature that's here. The fact that I can use my phone to take a picture and not have a fishbowl lens is phenomenal. Like this is this is amazing. And it's just an app and it's free. Also, if you wanted to, you could use their design, their creative space on your phone. So technically you don't even need your computer. You could just, use Creative Space on your phone. I don't know how you would upload an SVG file. I've never tried, but you could. Okay, so now you can see that there is like these squares on all the materials that we're gonna cut. We have set up everything and we are essentially ready to rumble. And I'm gonna like go right back to what I had said earlier is I am nervous to do this. I just want you to know I am extremely nervous because acrylic is flammable, okay? That's just what it is. So I don't think that we're gonna have a fire, but let's just, can we just like cross our fingers? Everyone cross our fingers. Everyone hope and pray. Everyone pray that we don't have a fire. Let's do it. Oh, okay, are you ready? All right, so now all we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into the xTool program and we are gonna press go to process. The xTool is going to say that we need to have the base plate or riser base installed, and we also have to have the laser module. I have both, so we're good to go. It says it's going to take a minute. I almost said an hour. It's going to take a minute and 29 seconds to do all these little cuts. Hopefully, we get some good cuts. With some of these, we shall see. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to press start on our program. Then what we need to do is head over to the xTool. At the front of your xTool, because I'm hooked up to Wi-Fi, there's going to be like a blinking blue button. I don't know if it's like that if you're actually like hooked onto the computer, but regardless, there's going to be two buttons at the front of your screen, at the front of your machine. We're going to want to choose the silver one. Okay. Oh, also before we get started, if you're not venting out of a filter, you need to vent out a window. So you may be able to see it, you may not. There is this like tube that's right here. It comes out from the back of the machine. It is stuffed out of a window. So there is a window that's right here and it's going out the window. So just keep that in mind. Okay, the other thing is the great thing about the M1 Ultra is that it has a lot of safety features. So if it detects a fire, it will stop, which is great. That's wonderful. So technically we should not destroy my craft room today, but you know, we are going to keep an eye on. We're not going to walk away from the xTool. We're going to monitor it with our eyeballs. If in fact we do have a fire, all we're going to do is lift the lid and it's going to stop. The xTool is going to stop. So just know. You probably may want a fire extinguisher. I don't have a fire extinguisher and I should. So are you ready? Are you ready? I'm nervous. Okay, let's go. So now what it's going to do is start doing its cuts. And it's going to do the red first. It looks like it's going pretty good. A minute and a half for all this acrylic is actually not that slow, which I'm pretty impressed with. So to do this for a minute and a half for, what is this? How many settings did we do? 3, 6, 9. We have 9 cuts per acrylic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different acrylics. What is that? 63 cuts, if I did my math correctly. So for 63 cuts in a minute and a half, definitely is not a long time. So I'm pretty impressed with. And that very first cut, and honestly, I can see the back of my honeycomb tray. So I think that was a pretty good cut for the very first one. So the very first row, if you remember, the very first row had 2 passes. The second row, which is what it's cutting right now, is going to be 3 passes. And then, so what that essentially means is it just did 1 pass. It just did 1 rectangle, right? Now it's going to go and do another rectangle. I did it fast, but it's going to go do another rectangle. Okay, and then it's going to go back around for a 3rd time to do another rectangle in the same spot. Okay, just want to answer some questions if I have any. I'm loving the M1 Ultra this so far. Still waiting on the paint pens, sample product kits, and ink module and cartridge. I think you're going to love the ink cartridge for sure. I have fallen in love, and actually that's something that I was working on today was the ink cartridge. Sorry. You know, I'm fairly certain that this right here is not true. I feel like I've been cutting for longer than wait a minute. Did I? Hold on. This isn't a minute. I'm reading this. This right here does not. Is it a minute? Okay, somebody caught on to that. All right. I was like a minute, and I'm like, wait a minute. I have been here for longer than a minute. There's no way that this is a minute. And it's not. Holy cow. It says an hour and a half. Oh, we are not doing an hour and a half. I'm thinking it's an hour and a half. It is an hour and a half. What in the world? Okay, hold on. Let's rethink this. There's no way I'm going to sit here for an hour and a half to do these cuts. Ah! What should I do? I need someone give me direction, because I'm not going to sit here for an hour and a half to do all these cuts. Holy cannolis. Denise, I wonder how long the ink cartridge will last before you need a new ink cartridge. I don't know. I was starting to do some, maybe just 1 square across. Oh, I don't know. Hold on, let's go look. Okay, the ink cartridge, let me respond to the ink cartridge. I was getting ready to do some prints on the ink cartridge earlier, and I didn't get to it, but I've been doing a lot of printing, and I still haven't had any issues, like ran out of ink or anything like that, so we shall see. We shall see how long it lasts. But I did find out that you could just buy the ink cartridge. It's cheaper. It's like $24 on xTool's website for the cartridge, or you can get it from Amazon, and Amazon's like $25. So is it 25? I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I need some assistance. I need someone to tell me what I need to be doing here. That time mistake has happened to me more often than I want to admit. See, this is why I don't like doing lives because I really show my my brain waves and like how quick my brain can go, because like I see something and I'm like running with it, and that's not necessarily true. Normally when I'm recording and just editing, I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant. So I would like voice over that and like, oh, it's not an hour. It's not a minute and 30 seconds. It's an hour and a half. But you know, live, you get the Ashley that has no idea what in the world she's talking about. And clearly an hour and a half seems way too slow. So we're just going to, I'm just going to let it do its first cut on the red, and then we'll revisit what in the world we're going to do. we're going to go back to looking at what in the world we are only on the 4th cut. It is painstakingly slow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see here. The xTool says that it's been going, well, I wish it would give me, I don't want time left. What do we got? We've been doing this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 minutes. We've been doing it for 6 minutes, and it is on its 4th square. Holy cow. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get through those last 2. So you know how, and I'll show it to you on the xTool just so it makes more sense. So when do I set this up? This square right here is the perfect settings that xTool suggested for acrylic. So we're going to wait for it to cut this square right here, which is going to be the 2nd row far left. When that's done, we are going to stop the process, and then we are going to revisit what in the world we're going to do for all the rest of the acrylics. I do want to cut all of the acrylics, but I don't want to be here for an hour and a half waiting for a machine to cut rectangles. Not cute. I actually had something really, really cute to cut out to, like, if this worked, and I want to get to that. I don't want to just be cutting rectangles because that's not fun. Even xTool support site answered someone's question about refilling the ink. You can refill the ink, just search YouTube for steps. It is just an HP cartridge, cheaper to refill. I did hear that, and I have seen that. You know, for how long I've been a crafter, I have never refilled my own ink. It makes me nervous. I don't know why. I don't know. But, like, will it work? I don't know. I have heard a lot of people say that. It's like HP 62 or 82 is the technical ink cartridge. It's in my Amazon cart. Because I'm anticipating that I'm going to have to buy it. I should have already purchased it, but I haven't because I'm trying to see how long this initial ink cartridge lasts me. Probably not a smart thing to do, since what's probably going to end up happening is I am going to be in the middle of recording a video. I said recording wrong. Bless me. I'm going to be in the middle of recording something and then get stuck on no ink and then have to, like, be irritated at myself. I'm going to add to cart. I'm going to buy it. That's what's going to happen. Donna, you're watching. Remind me. I know you'll keep me accountable. What happens with one of the processes breaks, like the laser or the print? Oh, what happens if one of the modules break? I would contact xTool. I've never personally had anything on my xTools break, so I am not entirely sure what would happen. I would assume, because I've heard xTool's repair program and, like, their customer service and stuff like that is, like, really cool. I think that they would just replace it for you, but I don't know. But if something were to break, like, let's say the laser module breaks, I could still use all the rest of the modules until I got the replacement laser module. So I think that's really cool. Gotta run, but feel like I am leaving on a cliffhanger. Good luck, Donna. I told Donna to remind me about my ink, and she's already gone out of here. Remember your own words. Don't worry, just try it. That's right. But we are definitely not going to sit here for an hour and a half. We are just going to cut this one last square. It's almost done. I think it's almost done with its 2nd round. So we are going to just wait for it to get done. And then it's almost finished. I feel it. Okay, so since it's almost finished, what I'm going to do is go to the machine. Let me verify that it's almost done. Okay, it's done with that square. So what I'm going to do is just press pause and then cancel. I guess I could have just pressed cancel, but I didn't. And then we'll just confirm this. Okay, going over into the M1. Okay. I would like to know. I don't smell any acrylic. Whoa. Holy cow. Did you see that? Oh, my hand was in the way. Poop. Did you see that? All 3 of these actually, look, all 3 of them cut. Or all 3 of them. Oh my word. That's 6. There's 6 rectangles. All 6 of them cut. I definitely need some help with counting and figuring out what is what. So we have 6 rectangles, all 6 cut. That is fabulous. Okay, now let's look at this one. So this right here was the suggested settings that xTool gave us. So I'm just going to peel the masking tape off of this acrylic because you can tell how good the cuts are by your when you peel the masking tape. So on both sides, and I don't know if you are going to be able to see it on the camera, but I can see it here. Ooh, how am I going to show it to you? Can you see this right here to this? This right here is what it's supposed to look like, and then there's like a cloudiness on there. Do you see that? Not terrible. I mean, from a distance, you totally could not tell, and it's going to be picky, like nitpicky. We're nitpicking here, but that is like your acrylic is melting a little bit because it got too hot. So on this next one, which is going to be the far left on the top, you're going to see that there is far less. Like, I would say that these settings are better for my machine than the middle settings that xTool created. So I think the next one I'm going to use is this top left one. All the rest of these had more passes and we don't need to use them, so I'm not going to. Obviously it cuts because we did more passes, but I'm not even going to visit them. The more passes, the longer it's going to take for you to get done cutting. I'm not interested in that, so we're not going to do that. We're going to use the top left setting on the xTool. Okay, because I didn't move anything else, I just only picked up this red. I don't have to use my camera on my phone in order to retake this picture. All I'm going to do is shut the lid to my xTool. Then what I'm going to do is on the xTool program, what you want to do is press complete. Now, obviously, this is not technically the live version of my xTool because this red is no longer there. However, remember what I said? I didn't move anything. So, but I only took out the red. So I'm just now going to delete what's supposed to be in the red. I'm going to tell my brain that there is nothing up here. And then what I'm going to do is taking all of my squares that I have, I'm going to right click and press ungroup. I'm going to delete everything but the top left square because the top left square was perfect for the red one. So we are going to just click on all the rest of these things. And we're going to just delete what we don't want. Ungroup. We're going to select everything but the top left, making this go a lot quicker than an hour and a half. I cannot believe it was going to take that long. That's ridiculous. Who is going to take an hour and a half to cut something? Holy moly, not me. Maybe if I was doing other things besides waiting for one thing, it's almost like watching water to boil. That would take forever. Okay, so, oops, almost done. Okay, because I did not change materials, because I did not move materials, because I didn't do anything else besides take the red, which is that top thing right there, all I need to do now is just press process and then press start. This one is going to take 2 minutes and 54 seconds, but I have to tell you is a lot better than an hour and a half. So I am okay with that. Okay, so now all we want to do is just press start. Go to the xTool. Same process as before. You just want to press that silver button, and then we're going to watch the xTool do its cuts, which it's doing the orange now. Looks like it's doing really good. Okay, so let me see here. Better order the backup ink. Yeah, I'm going to. That's what I am going to do is order some backup ink. It's okay, math is hard. I'm actually really good at math. I just want you to know. You would think that I'm not, but I am, which is bananas. Okay, I saw when you lifted your hand, didn't block it completely. Oh, that's good. Put your hand behind it. Maybe it will focus better for us. Yeah, I can see the border. Can you recommend where to buy acrylic, especially colored acrylic? Okay, so I want the acrylic that I have and that I'm using today is from Glowforge, and it's just because I've had it for a long time. The amount of acrylic that I have in my craft room is absurd. So all of the acrylic that I'm using today is from Glowforge. The reason why I'm not going to suggest them, first, they're really expensive. Secondly is if you have the M1 Ultra, which if you're watching this, it's because you do or you will, you're going to want to get your acrylic from xTool. The reason why I say that is because it's going to be sized for your xTool. So a lot of my acrylic sheets that I get from Glowforge or that I have gotten from Glowforge, they're huge. They're 16 by 20 or 12 by 20 or something like that. That's way too big for the M1 Ultra. So I would suggest getting all of your acrylic straight from xTool, and it's cheaper. Houston Acrylic is another good backup. I've ordered from them. I do not know if they sell sizes small enough to fit your M1 Ultra. I do know that they sell acrylic large enough for the P2, so I have purchased from them, and those acrylics will fit in my P2, so just keep that in mind. Can you show us how to do the auto measure again? I missed what you did. Yes, when we are done doing this, I can show you because I'm going to do the glitters, these glitters right here. I will show you and when we go to do that, when we change out the materials. And I probably missed this, but that thickness are, I probably missed this, but that thickness are these pieces. I don't know what that means, Denise. Are we done? We are done. Okay. Oh, sorry. What is the thickness? Mine particular acrylic is 3 millimeters. So just know that, oh, calipers are going to be your BFS. Just know that. But let's see what has cut here. So this is orange acrylic. We're going to open this up. Ooh, we got an orange cutout right here with a small little baby rectangle. Look at that. Let me see. Where is my... Here we go. Got my weeding tool pick. To weed any of your masking tape off of anything, get yourself a weeding tool pick. Don't ruin your fingernails, because that is not... I've ruined so many manicures with them, but oh my gosh, look at that. We got a little cut. Now I can see a little bit of that like fogginess on there, just a little bit, not a whole lot. It's not terrible. I would say that this is a really, really clean cut, like really, really, really clean cut. Okay, so this is yellow right here, and yellow didn't cut out all the way. Obviously, you can see it, but oh, look at that. So, which is really, this is really weird. It's kind of weird. I wonder if I did 3 passes, would this work? Because you can see at the top and the bottom, if I turn this around, the top and the bottom cut out and the sides did not. Isn't that weird? So I would say that if I were to do this one again, I would probably do 3 passes. Try it at 3 passes, because right now we only did 2 passes. So maybe try this at 3 passes. Okay, let's do green, which is up here. And we got, it's kind of hanging just a little bit, but let's see if we just take our thing and boop, oh, it just falls right out. We didn't have any issues. I don't think that we had any issues on this. It was just the way that I picked it up off the plate. Not really so much, it had a miscut. Okay, we're gonna take the masking off of this. Now, I can see it best. I don't know if you're going to, but the blooming, I don't know what that's called, like what the technical term is, but The green has it more than the orange does. That like fogginess on the edges. Not terrible. Not terrible. On the back though, there is a lot on the back. On the back side, there is a lot. But if it's on the back side, who's going to look at the back? You know? Ooh, I think I got it right there. You can kind of see it. Anyway. Okay, but it did cut. Not terrible. Okay, blue is right here. So let's see the blue. And we'll see if we can try and push this out. No. Okay, so here is the front side of the blue. And here's the back side. So this obviously did not cut. Could you continue cutting and doing more passes? Yeah, you probably could. I can tell you is like, I think you would probably need like 10 passes or something, because I don't think we went through the in full, like we barely went through. We barely went through this one. So blue, I would say, is a hard pass. Yellow, I think we could probably get yellow to cut. Okay, green is right here. And green won't come out. Oh, this is not green. This is teal. Duh. So this is the teal. Here is the back side. Here's the front side. And it also is going to be the same. This cut a little bit deeper than that royal blue. But I don't know. If you wanted to keep doing passes, you totally could. Okay. Purple is this one. And here's the front. Here's the back. So nothing on the back. And this one went deeper. Okay, so if we're talking about how deep this cut, for 2 passes, this one right here, it's pretty deep. I would say that this one is not as deep as this one. And this one is like hardly been cut at all. I think you could probably keep upping your passes and you could eventually get to cuts, but this is where that test grid would come into play. So you'd want to actually do the full test grid, because remember my original test grid had like 4 passes. You would want to keep doing that until you did get a cut. So I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to be here for an hour and a half more just waiting for a machine to cut. So I would continue if you wanted to use purple or the teal or the royal blue. I just don't think royal blue is going to cut, because this right here barely cut at all. But this one right here I think has potential. For sure the yellow has way more potential than all the rest of these, just because you got 2 clean lines right here. I think we could probably do two lines down and we'd be okay. You know what I mean? Okay, so for sure what we've accomplished here is red, orange, and green all cut. I don't know where my red acrylic cut, but all of my red, orange, and green cut. Okay, now what we want to try is some mirror acrylic. Let me see here. Before we go there, what can the P2 not do? Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so the P2 can do a lot of things. A lot of things. It cannot engrave metal without a spray. So with the M1 and the M1 Ultra, the S1 and the F1 and the F1 Ultra, and even the D2. Woof. Everyone but the P2 are all diode lasers of some fashion, and all of those can engrave on metal without any type of spray. So like this right here is a stainless steel circle that I engraved on the S1. I also did my name with the S1, and this one right here is I just put it in the machine and it engraved and didn't have any problems. The P2 would not be able to do that unless you had a spray. And when you do the spray, it kind of it doesn't fully mark it. It kind of just gives it like a light engraving. So essentially that's the P2. It's the only thing it can't do. Now, this one right here is gigantic. It's huge. So if you're lacking in space and you're not really wanting to get into acrylic crafts, like the M1 Ultra I think is perfect. The S1 It's growing on me, but I think I like the F1 over the S1. I don't know why, I just do. Maybe it's because the F1 is like smaller. Okay, I think it's the darker colors that won't cut with just 2 passes, or is it just because they are dark? Sorry, new at this. So I'm not entirely sure. The technical, and people like to get like sciencey, the diode laser is a blue light laser, and blue lights have a different frequency than like cutting. This is why you can't cut clear acrylic, because of the frequency of the diode laser and the frequency of like clear acrylic or even like the blue acrylic. It kind of like frazzles out. Look, I am no scientist. I have listened to people talk about it and I get lost. I get so lost really quickly. That's as far as I get, and then I'm like, chirps are going in there. So technically there's something really technical about it being a diode laser or a blue light laser, and some type about frequencies and frazzling frequencies. I don't know. But we're going to try the mirror acrylics now, because this is kind of where a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, can it cut? Can it cut the glitters? Can it cut the mirrors? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you whether or not it can or cannot. Okay. So I am going to put in kind of the smaller pieces of acrylic into the xTool, just like what we did earlier. I have, this is some glitter purple. Okay. There we go. I just broke a little piece off so it can fit inside my xTool. And then we have some mirror silver. You always want to cut, if this does cut, I'm going to say it because if you have the P2, you're going to want to know this. If you want to cut mirror acrylic, you always cut mirror acrylic with this side facing you. And then you would just mirror your design like you would if you're using HTV. So we have mirror gold right here, same thing. We're just going to lay this in here. And I don't think that, am I going to be able to get, yeah, I will. I'm just going to rearrange this. This is mirror blue, which honestly, I don't even know why I'm going to try this, because it didn't cut the regular blue correctly. I don't think it's going to cut this correctly, but we shall see. So I'm going to put these in here, just so. Excuse me, why'd you turn off? Why did you turn off? There it goes. It was due to inactivity. So I'm going to just move these over into my machine just so it looks just like that. Okay. Then what we want to do is going over into the xTool app, which is this one right here. We're going to open it up, let it load. I don't want to update. I'll do that at another time. I'm going to discard. Okay, now what you want to do is go over into Add Project, and we're going to go to New Project. Now what we're going to do is do the Snapshot Preview, which is down here at the bottom left, and we want to Snap Preview. Okay, going over here, this is real time, right? We want to put it like this onto our xTool. There is these like bullseye things in your xTool. You want to make sure that you connect all of those, like that you can see it all on your phone, and you want to be fully straight with it. You don't want to do it at an angle. See, so it says like registration failed. That's because I didn't have all of the things in my camera. So you just want to make sure and get a good picture of all 4 of your bullseye things. Okay, now this is what I have. So what I want to do is press Send to Computer. Okay, going over into your xTool program, the Creative Space. What we want to do is we are going to go and press Complete, and then we are going to press Obtain Background. When we do that, you have this QR code. You're not going to be able to see it, but I am going to take my camera and I am going to shoot it at that QR code. When that happens, this is what you see right here. Perfect. I love it. Okay, now what we're going to do is the auto focus, which is what we did earlier, which I don't remember who, Denise? I think it was Denise who had asked how to do it. So this is how you do it. Because we've changed material, you don't have to do this for every single time you do it. But if you change material, like I'm pretty certain that the material that's in here is a little bit thicker than, or like thinner, you know? What is this? Oh, this is 3. Okay, it's gonna be the same. No matter what, I'm just gonna say it anyways, and we're gonna do it just so I can show you. And then I'm gonna say, you don't necessarily have to do this if it's the same thickness for everything, but because I wanna do it to show you, I'm gonna do it anyways. What we need to do is go over to the M1. We need to take the head, so this thing right here, and you want to drag it onto your material. Now, all of these materials are all the same thickness, so it doesn't matter where I put it, but I need to take my head, and you're gonna see this like aiming tool right here. This like, do you see it? Right there? Okay. What we're gonna do is we are going to just make sure that this is on one of our materials. Doesn't matter which one because they're all the same thickness. You just want to put it on one. Then what you want to do is shut the lid on your M1 Ultra. Then what we want to do is going over into the xTool program, the creative space, you're going to see the head, or you know, that like little laser beam that we have. You're going to see it right here. Now all you want to do is come over here to this ruler. You could put in the measurements by yourself and do it yourself. However, don't do it. Just press this auto measure. Auto anything is my jam. Just do that. So all you want to do is click on that, and then it's going to auto measure. So over on your machine, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but the machine's head like lowers a little bit, and then it just like gives it a distance. You can tell that my distance now is 1.004. I think it was like 0.9 something. So it did change a little bit. That's important. It just makes for cleaner cuts. So just keep that in mind. But that's how you do it. And you don't have to do it for every single time, unless you change material. Okay, so we're gonna use the same cuts. I'm gonna delete all my circles, or all my squares but one. Making sure I only have one on there. Okay, so we're gonna use the same settings that seem to work really well with all the other acrylics that we had. Thank you. I was asking about the auto measure. Got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, I want to make sure that you know how to use your machine perfectly. I also use the auto measure feature for every single machine. So I always use it for the P2. I always use it for all the things, just because it's absolutely amazing. So I only have one rectangle in here, and the rectangle that I have is the one where all the settings worked for the red, orange, and green acrylics. I'm going to use the same because I feel like they're really good. Those were really good settings. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to take this rectangle. You can hardly see it, but it's there. And I'm going to put it on my purple acrylic. This is glitter. And then I'm going to copy paste, Command C, Command V. And I'm going to drag this over, and I'm going to put it on this one. I don't remember what color this is, but we're going to put it there. Copy and paste. We're going to drag another one over here. And then copy and paste. And we're going to drag this one over here. I don't remember what mirrors these are. We'll find out when it's done cutting. Okay. Now that we have that all done, said and done, I'm going to conserve on material. Look, there is one thing that I was super bummed about when it came to the xTool M1 Ultra, was that they did not have a camera, and I was like, why did they come out with a machine that didn't have a camera on it? But then they were like, we have an app, don't worry. And I was like, okay. So then I used the app, and I was like, this is better than any other camera that I've ever seen on a laser. So you know what? I'm all about it. This camera feature is like the best. It's thebomb.com. Okay, going back over into the xTool, all we want to do is we want to press go to process, And then we want to press start. This is going to take it's going to take about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, not 2 hours. Hallelujah. Then we're going to press start on our computer. We're going to go over into the xTool. At the front of your machine, you're going to press the silver button. Now, remember what I said about acrylic being flammable. We did not have any flames, thank goodness. Luckily with the xTool, there is like a fire detection or flame detection, so it will stop. Last Monday, we were doing something and I did have flame detection and we did have to troubleshoot that together last Monday's live. So just know, just know it did stop on me. Okay, are we ready? Let's go. All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, but it's like crinkling. It sounds like Pop Rocks, like the candy, Pop Rocks candy. That's what it sounds like. Well, the one thing I would like to note though is, so generally when you cut acrylic, it smells like a nail salon. I mean, we cut all this acrylic, right? There is no smell of acrylic at all in my craft room, which is phenomenal. Which I can't believe it. And right now when this is cutting, it's actively cutting, right? And I don't smell anything. I don't have an additional air filter. I am just venting out of a window. So I'm not entirely sure, but I don't smell anything, which is great. And I don't know what color this is, but you're going to see there is some smoke in there. I don't think you can tell from your angle, but from my angle, there's some smoke on the back. I don't even know if it cut all the way. We will find out. We will find out together. Okay, now that we are going to wait for that to get done cutting, which we only have a minute and a half left, so not too bad. Okay, I have to get back to work. Thank you so much for everything. This has given me courage to go home this afternoon and try doing something on my brand new machine. I cannot wait for you to try something. You are going to love it. I swear. And if I am willing to risk my craft room live, you should be able to do it behind closed doors. You know what I mean? If you have a fire or anything else like that, at least it'll be less embarrassing. Seriously, you can do it. I just want you to know that, like, I think you can do it. Do you hear that? Do you hear the popping? Let's see here. Let's go back. You can kind of see it on the computer, on the screen, the popping of the, I do love the, crackling usually means it's a little too hot, lower power or increased speed. Let's see here. What? I can't remember. Oh, we're done anyways. So I was going to stop and change the speed and stuff like that, but we don't have to since we're already over. I'm waiting. Okay. That fan noise that you heard it will run a little bit after your cut is complete. That is because it's extracting all the other fumes. I don't smell anything. But just in case, I didn't want to open my lid because I don't want the fumes to come back into my craft room. I want them to go outside. So we're going to open the lid. We're going to go to the very top one, which is going to be that glitter purple. And I'm going to open it up. And the cut is right here. Okay. And on here is the back side. And it looked like, let me see here. Where is, I keep walking away from, I need this to be tethered to me. I keep setting it down and then walking away from it. Let me see here. Try and peel this glitter stuff and the mirror stuff has a plastic backing, like masking tape versus the traditional paper masking tape. Oh, it's like melted on there. Okay. This right here is your cut. You can kind of see it. It's like a black line on the back side of it. we have nothing. So just like the other, like this, the purple, how we have nothing, kind of the same thing. But this like really, really, like even the front of this looks terrible. Okay, this one is blue acrylic mirror. This is what I was talking about with that smoke. Do you see that smoke that's right there? Here, right here and right here. So this is the smoke. We're going to turn this around. And it didn't go through. You can see a line like at the front of it. You can see a line, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't call this a good cut because nothing came through. And then also you can see that there is like some, what are we going to call this? A blooming? See that right there? Yeah, so even if it did cut, you would get something like that. Not cute. Moving on to, I think this is silver. And turning this around, same thing with the silver, just like with that blue. The reason, and I'm going to tell you is I already knew that this wasn't going to work. The reason for the, like, your mirrors not working, this is the gold that's right here, is because mirror acrylic is just clear acrylic with a finish on the back of it that is your mirror effect. So just like a traditional mirror that you would have in your bathroom, the front of your mirror has the mirror, and then on the back of it, it actually technically is just a piece of glass with like a paint over the top of it. That's what this is. So mirror acrylic is just clear acrylic with a mirror-like paint on the top of it. So I could, I'm going to annoy myself to do this. Oh, it's like nails on chalkboard. But you can scratch the mirror off. You're going to be able to see it on here. So you can see the scratch marks in my acrylic. That's because I can just peel it right off. I can scratch it off. So that's why mirror acrylic won't work, because it's technically clear acrylic. So we got these right here and they didn't work either, which is a bummer, but at least we got 3. Where'd my red go? Got the orange, the green, and we got red. I do know for a fact that black cuts, so just keep that in mind. Alrighty, I'm done, I think, unless there was another acrylic that you wanted me to try. However, I do have one left over sitting here. It's clear with like a glitter into it. It's probably not going to cut. I'm going to put that with all the rest of the mirror stuff. It's probably not going to cut, but I do know because of last Friday's live, we did cut black acrylic. The black acrylic did cut. So black, red, orange, and green are the 4 colors that I can successfully cut. I do have like matte acrylics too. I didn't pull them out just because I didn't have like smaller pieces of them. I would have to cut them on my P2 so I can make them the size that would fit into my M1. But I would say that you would probably have the same success with that, as in like if you were to have a green matte acrylic, that will probably cut. If you had a matte orange acrylic, that will probably cut. If you had a matte blue acrylic, that probably won't cut. So just keep that in mind when you're testing out your own acrylics. But at least I showed you how to make that test grid, because that test grid is my savior. I use it for everything, not just acrylics. For every single machine, for every single material, all the things. I use it for all of it, just because it makes it a lot easier. We were able to dial in our settings real quick just by doing a simple test grid. Pink. You know what? I never tried pink. Let's put in that pink. Let's put in that pink before we go. Let's see. We're going to go here. And let's go to complete. I will try pink for you, Christy. Is it Christy? No, it's Kirsty. I'm sorry. We'll put the pink in the machine. And then I am going to do the same thing as I did before with the app. And it always takes forever to like get out of this screen. So I just close it out and then just reopen it because it's a lot quicker for me that way. Okay, so this pink is, oh, not gonna do that. This pink is like Barbie pink. It's my favorite pink ever. I love this color pink. Okay, same thing, go to the app, go to snapshot preview. We're gonna take a picture of the bed. There is my acrylic. We'll just insert canvas. Oh, poop. Try it again. Because I didn't want to insert canvas. I wanted to send it to my computer. You could send to computer. You could do all your design work here on your on the app. You definitely don't need to do it all like on your computer. So we're going to go to obtain background. Using our phone, we're going to scan the QR code. Live preview of our machine. And I'm just going to do one square or rectangle just so we can verify. Okay, I need to shut the lid onto my xTool. I'm not going to do an autofocus because it is the same thing that, you know, you did, it's the same thickness as all the rest of the material, so I'm not going to do another autofocus. All I'm going to do is press go to process and then press start. Now we're going to walk and get our steps in to the xTool, and we are going to press the blue button at the front of our machine. Whoa, that is bright. That is a lot brighter than all the rest of them. I don't know why that's so bright, but holy cow. It is probably not going to come through as bright as what it is in real life, but oh my word. Pink is my absolute most favorite color in the entire world. I love pink. Love pink. So you know, I don't even know if it will cut. So I guess we shall see. Oh my goodness. This one still doesn't smell. I can't smell a smell, so that's good. Okay. Let's wait until it's done cutting. It most definitely, I don't even think I need to pull this out. I already can tell you before pulling it out that it did not cut. It looks like shaved ice in there. Or you know when you get a diaper wet and the diaper has like that crumbly, like clear stuff? It's essentially what just happened. It's hot! Holy cow. Okay, so this is the front side and this is the back side. It's like, do you see it's like melted? Do you see that? It's melting. So I would say that we're going to put pink on the same list as all the rest of them. The ones that don't cut, like the mirror acrylics or yellow or blue. Yeah, I don't think that works. The one thing that I would love to note is that if you had a 20 watt xTool laser M1, you're going to have different abilities than my 10 watt. So I do know, and I have seen it, where people have the 10 or the 20 watt xTool laser for their S1, and they are able to cut white acrylic, and I am not able to cut white. So that is one thing to be mindful of when you're purchasing your machines, is I would probably guess that maybe some other colors would be able to cut, like the yellow. That yellow was like so close to being cut. I think that if you had a 20 watt, you would be able to cut it, plus it would be faster. The difference between the wattages are two things. It plays a factor into it, one of which is the speed of which it can cut, but the second is the thickness that it's able to cut. The more power you have, the more wattage you have, you could have an ability to cut. Now, because the 10 and 20 watt are both diode lasers, which are the blue light lasers, you're not going to be able to do like clear or the mirror or the blues because of like the frequency thing that we talked about earlier. So just keep that in mind. But outside of that, I think we got some really good cuts. I'm pretty impressed. I'm satisfied. Now I do know what can cut and what can't cut on the acrylic side with my M1 Ultra. I am hoping to get the 20 watt laser head. If I get the 20 watt laser head, best believe I'm going to try this process all over again with the 20 watt to verify my suspicions on whether or not I could cut other things that the 10 watt can't, because I would much rather have a 20 watt. More wattage, the better, in my opinion. That is for sure what I like to say. All right, y'all, do you have any questions about the M1 Ultra before I get going? I have been on live for almost 2 hours. I said to my son, I will see you in an hour, and now we're 2 hours. We're an hour later, but let me know if you have any questions about the M1 Ultra before I go, because if you do, I want to answer them now. If not, then hopefully that's good for me. That's like, oh, what's in my hair? That's like good news for me if you don't have any questions, because that means I answered them all for you. Oh, I totally forgot. It took so long to get through all these test cuts that I didn't even get to create something cute, which is just a pain. But I wanted to show you just in case you wanted to create them yourself. So over on my cardstock warehouse, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to take you over there because you're going to want to see the file that I created, because I wanted to create these really cool boo ghost tag things, boo bags. They're called boo bag tags. They're super popular right now. Let me go to newest. These things right here. I created these tags for Halloween because it's Halloween season soon. Created these tags and I wanted to cut these out on my xTool versus cutting out squares and rectangles, but you know what? That's okay, but I just wanted to show you those because that file is so stinking cute. I just put the link up on my, for my shop. I'm telling you, that file, I think I'm going to create them. I'm going to create them on my P2 though, just because I know that it can cut all acrylics. So I'm going to go over there and it's a little bit faster. Can we do translucent colored acrylic or just the solid colors? So I only have purple and I only have this clear. I would say that this was translucent. It has glitter in it. I was not successful, so I don't know. That would be something that you would try with your M1 Ultra because I don't have that here. Translucents are not something that I ever use. I think I have a pink and a green, and that's it. Like I don't, and they're huge. Those are huge sheets that would fit inside the P2, so I wouldn't even be able to show it to you anyways. But like, I'm not someone that uses the translucent colors, so I don't have them here. All right, y'all. Since y'all don't have any other questions for me, I will see you next Monday live, and it's going to be another M1 Ultra thing because I'm addicted. I'm literally addicted with this machine. It's been so much fun to learn all the cool things about it, and I'm going to get to printing. Today, I'm going to print out a whole bunch of things on pictures like wood slices. I have a sublimation coaster. I have acrylic blanks. I'm doing all the things. I'm printing on all the things today. So that's what I'm getting ready to go do right now when I get off here with you. All right, y'all. I sure hope I inspired you to create.